Welcome, Imogen Outlaw from the Climate Institute. Thanks for coming. You've just come back from the COP. Tell us a bit about it. How was it for you, especially regarding the discussions around green hydrogen?
Yeah, so I think particularly with green hydrogen at the COP, there was a joint statement that came out at the COP about green hydrogen, about the need for more cooperation. I think that's beneficial that came out. There still is a lot that needs to be done about standardization, about what exactly, still having this conversation around what is the role for producer countries here. I think that's still very much part of the discussion that needs to continue to be had in the coming months of not only how can we increase the volumes of green hydrogen globally, but also how can we ensure that green hydrogen is also benefiting those producer countries. So I think we saw a bit more of this conversation at COP about a focus on green, hopefully, but also about the need to make sure we connect it back to benefits and the local benefit to the populations that are in producer countries.
And so these producer countries, when you spoke to them, what was your impression? Are they hopeful? How are they looking at the state of green hydrogen at the moment?
Yeah, I think more generally the impression is I think there's a lot of countries that are really coming out with green hydrogen strategies in the last few years. I think there's still a lot of excitement around it. I think maybe it's a bit more muted now, and that there's also a realization of also how much still needs to be done to be able to really bring this to market. A lot of concerns still about financing, I think from civil society, there's still a lot of concern about how do we make sure and ensure that this actually benefits us and doesn't become something that is exported abroad. So I think the conversation was a bit twofold. There's a lot of excitement, but I think also a lot of reservation on behalf of countries and civil society in those organizations or in those countries.
So I'm sure you've gathered a lot of information at the COP and now obviously here as well during these 2 days. How are these two coming together? What have you gathered?
Yeah, so I think our next work that we're working on is looking at this role of hydrogen in a just and Paris-compatible transition. And we're looking at what is the role of the public sector here, where should public funds go, and how can they kind of de-risk investments. What is their role here? And I think looking at COP and a lot of the conversations that are starting to happen here in the financing space, but also kind of marrying that with the conversations we just had with civil society, I think it brings out some of these criteria that we need to be thinking about with sustainability, moving past emissions to other sustainable criteria, whether it's water use, land use, free, prior and informed consent, these sorts of things that really need to be thought about and somehow put into this conversation about what are the standards we need going forward to ensure, again, that the producer countries are actually getting a benefit out of this.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.